How much jumping is there in your training? I'm not talking about training in order to be able to jump higher. I'm talking about actually jumping as the exercise. Because I think that if the answer is not much or none at all, then you need to rectify that. So unfortunately, a lot of people actively avoid jumping in their training because they think it's going to lead to injury. There's all this impact, there's a risk of spraining your ankle. I get it. Jumping is a fundamental human movement, a term I've used a fair bit on this channel recently. It's something that you should be able to do, like walking, throwing, running. If you can't jump, then you're missing out on a basic thing that every human should be able to do. Jumping is something that exists on a gradient. There are small ways you can jump, which we're going to talk about in a moment, to build up to being able to jump higher. And jumping is something that you can't avoid in your daily life. Whether you're jumping down from a car, whether you're jumping down from a bigger vehicle like a tractor, or jumping out of any other kind of vehicle, because we always have to jump out of vehicles, but also sports, whether you're interested in martial arts. And if you can't pursue the things you're interested in because you feel like you're brittle or you're going to twist something, well then that's what training is for. It's for being able to do the stuff that you want to be able to do. I like to bound up the stairs, and I always feel like the day I stop being able to bound up the stairs is the day I'm going to start really feeling my age and the day I'm going to start slowing down. Now, of course, I'm not saying that your 90-year-old grandma can or should be doing box jumps or even smaller jumps. This might be off limits genuinely for some people, but it's still a great goal to have and something to work towards. For someone like that, I'd probably recommend doing 100 up minors, you know, just gently stepping up and down and raising the leg. And then maybe if you get to a good level of confidence, you could try some little tiny bounces like you might do at the start of a workout. The same goes for anyone else who's just feeling a little bit unconfident about jumping in a bigger way. If you want to just do some small hops, just, you know, up and down like this, that's a great way to start. It's still going to be useful for building a little bit of tendon strength, a little bit of rebound, and getting you confident to start leaving the ground again. The dog just peed on my camera bag, so I think today's shoot is kind of cursed. It's also way too bright and I cannot get the aperture and the ND filter right, but anyways, moving on. So when you jump, what this does for you is it strengthens your tendons and it improves your ability to absorb shock. You can use your muscles in a more isometric manner to create tension through the tendons and then slow down that movement and absorb it in a healthy way. This means that if you ever have to jump, or even if you fall by accident, you're going to be a little bit more resilient against that. Likewise, jumping is fantastic for building bone density. It can strengthen your bones, and this makes you less likely to experience a fracture or a break. And at the same time, as you're getting older, it can be a great way to slow down the process of your bones becoming more brittle, maybe even to slow down the onset of something like osteoporosis. And at the same time, you're strengthening all your stabilizing muscles, you're learning how to align your joints so that you're less likely to twist an ankle or put your hip out or anything like that. In other words, the more you jump, the better you get at jumping. So jumping itself is not the problem. The problem is doing a massive jump when you've had no training to prepare for it, which is why a little bit of jumping in your training can be so useful, and especially if you are interested in athletic performance. But this is where I have to say I can't stress enough the importance of finding jump training that matches your level. So if you are someone who regularly puts their hip out or twists their ankle, or if you experience a lot of breaks, then don't start doing massive box jumps. Instead, start with something easy. And to demonstrate that I haven't gone completely off my rocker and that there are ways you can gently integrate jumping into your training, just think about things like skipping, for example. You're doing little jumps here, building up your tendon strength, but not in a way that's going to cause a massive shockwave through the body. You can do this on grass, and I recommend that you start with small hops. Make sure you've got your technique right, because you can still hurt your ankle skipping. In fact, I've done it. You want to start on a soft surface and you want to start out slow, just like anything else. And that brings me to today's sponsor, Crossroad. So in case you don't know, Crossroad make extremely high quality jump ropes. Crossroad is genuinely really different. They use a really high quality proprietary material for the actual rope. At the same time, they have these great spin mechanics that make it really spin smoothly in your hand. What's really cool about Crossroad though is that they also produce weighted ropes, and you can choose the weight you want to fit the goals that you have. So for example, you can go for something lighter and faster if you want to really work on your footwork, or something a bit heavier if you want to turn this into more of a full body workout. At the same time, the slightly heavier rope is really great because it slows down the motion slightly, allowing someone like me to start to learn the skills a bit easier, because you're not going to whip the back of your neck as much and you have a slightly more time to react. Crossroad now also has its AMP line of handles, and these are basically smart handles that will count your reps but also sync up to an app which allows you to complete challenges and to follow along with different workouts, to track your progress. And when it comes to gamification and keeping you cognitively engaged in the training, it really makes a massive difference. The good news is that Crossroad has a 60-day trial period, so if you're unsure, you can order a pair, Try them for as long as you want, for 60 days, and if you're not satisfied, send them back and you'll get your money back, no questions asked. Bioneer viewers can also get a discount of 15% by using the link down below and then using the code Bioneer at checkout. Try them out if you're interested. I think that Crossroad make really great quality products, and yeah, thanks again to Crossroad for sponsoring this, and now on with the show. Of course, one of the absolute simplest ways to practice jumping in your training is with jump squats. These can be as high or as low as you want. Squatting is a great exercise for strengthening the glutes, and what is the purpose of the glutes? Well, they're often referred to as the anti-gravity muscles. Their purpose is propulsion, to help you jump and run, so if you're jumping, then you're using them for their intended function. This is a great way to train your legs. Big heavy squats are actually a great way to improve your jump height, but so are jump squats, and especially weighted jump squats. If you take a kettlebell or something and jump with that, this will help to make you even more explosive. But again, you can build up to that. When you perform a movement like this, make sure you're placing heavy emphasis on that gentle landing. This is the perfect opportunity to practice that. And obviously, as you start to fatigue, you might notice that your performance goes down a bit, so this is the cue to stop. Jumping is something you don't want to be doing very, very tired, because it's really important we don't compromise form here. Of course, if you're an athlete looking to improve their jump height, then you do want to train a little bit differently. Here you're going to use a box and you're going to gradually increase your jump height, so you've got progressive overload. When you do this, you want to make sure you're using long rest times and short rep ranges, because you don't want to fatigue the nervous system. The idea here being that each jump is representative of your max effort, your max jump height. So long rest times, ideally 1.5 to 3 times the length of the set itself. But for everyone, I think it's important not to just jump vertically, but to think about the different directions you can jump. If you want to improve your athleticism, your agility, your resilience to injury, then making sure you can land in different angles from different directions is really important. Whether you're cutting, whether you're jumping over something sideways to get out of the way of something. So I recommend including some kind of forwards jump and some kind of lateral jumping as well. Lateral jumping, of course, meaning side to side. You can do this with skater hops, which are a really nice, gentle movement, great for warming up. Here you're going to hop to one side and then just tap the ground behind you with the other foot and then hop the other side. It's a great one for warming up. It's a great one for doing a little bit of gentle cardio, but most importantly, it helps you to improve movement in that frontal plane. If you want to level this up and you're feeling confident, then you can try lateral hops over something. This is a great option, but just like I say, ease into it. Jumping forwards, meanwhile, is also something that we need to do a lot in real life. In fact, I'd argue you jump forwards and over something possibly more often than you jump up and straight up onto something. So for example, jumping over a river or hurdling something. One great exercise for this is the broad jump. Just jump forwards as far as you can. You can even progressively overload this and monitor your progress by laying out something a set distance and then increasing that distance over time. Again, you want to focus on your landing. You want to make sure you're not pushing yourself too far too fast. This is going to train your quads a little bit more as you're angled slightly more forwards. I also just like to do squat jumps, but traveling forwards or even going around and round something. This is just a more fun way to perform squat jumps, and it's a great way to get a burn in your legs. Finally, I do recommend doing some kind of jumping off of one leg, whether that's a single leg jump squat or whether it's something like a pistol jump squat, which is a lot harder. You can also use something called bounce, where you're basically running, but as you run, you're launching forwards as much as possible. I think this is more something for those people who are already confident with their jumping ability, want to improve athletic performance. But consider that very often when you're jumping, you do jump off of one leg rather than both. It's also really good to practice jumping off of both legs so that you're not limited in terms of how you can launch and how you can land. Again, I really don't advise that to anyone who's not confident on their feet, not confident with jumping, but if you're at the point where you want to start leveling up your athleticism, then yes, single leg jumping is another really good tool. Otherwise, just start out with single leg exercises like your Bulgarian split squats, etc. Anyway guys, that brings us here to Bista's strange fake Stonehenge, which I have no idea why this thing exists. Seems like as good a point as any to finish up. Thanks so much for watching this one, guys. Let me know in the comments down below whether jumping is a part of your training or whether you're going to make it a part of your training right now. If you want a complete training program that includes things like jumping, as well as a whole bunch of other exercises designed to improve athleticism and agility, even things like mobility, reflexes, cognitive processes, then check out my ebook and training program, Super Functional Training 2.0. Link in the description down below. That comes with over 2 hours of instructional video and an 85+ page ebook. Either way, guys, thank you so much for watching this one. Thanks again to Crossroad for sponsoring it, and bye for now.